have submitted my notice of my intentions to retire on November 27 after completing over 30 years of service with the Sheldon Police Department. I have many memories of my years at Sheldon PD that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. Police officers oftentimes get to see people at their very best and also at their very worst. I've had the opportunity to do some very rewarding things as a police officer. I've also had to walk beside people who were overcome with grief and have cried with them while telling them that their loved one had died, knowing that their lives would never be the same again. I've met people who have far more character and class than I ever could have imagined. I've also met people who were evil to the very roots of their soul. Sometimes I've been surprised by who was actually evil and who was good. Policing has become increasingly challenging over the past 30 years. Technological changes are very difficult to keep up with, and most of these changes are very costly. The number of applicants for police jobs are down dramatically. Budget constraints are something we all have to deal with. Some of the people we have to deal with are becoming increasingly challenging and difficult. The level of respect for officers has declined. There's an overall decline in morality in our country. The profession of being a police officer is very dangerous. Every day our officers put on their uniforms while facing the reality that today might be their last day. We've sometimes attended funerals of fallen officers and have had to face the reality that we're not invincible. I would like to thank some individuals that have made a special impact on my life. First, I'd like to thank my Heavenly Father for watching over and protecting me and hiding me underneath the shelter of His wings. He has blessed me far more than I could possibly imagine. I want to thank my wife Brenda for always supporting me. Thank you for always being there for me through the good times and the bad. I'd like to thank my children. It's not always fun having a dad who's a police officer. Thank you for your support. I'd like to thank my mother, who's present here today, who I'm certain has prayed for me every day for the past 30 years. I'd like to thank our Sheldon PD officers. They work to protect our citizens every second of every hour of every day of every month of every year, and you should be proud of each and every one of them. They perform their duties admirably. Their jobs are very challenging. Remember them in your prayers and express your appreciation for them when you see them on the streets. I'd like to thank my administrative assistant, Elaine Bogart, for everything she does for our department. She has many duties she faithfully performs each day, oftentimes fills the role of being our team mom. I would also like to thank the area law enforcement agencies who our department works with on a daily basis. Sheldon PD has a close relationship with several different agencies and have benefited from their assistance on countless occasions. I'd like to give a special thanks to the deputies, dispatchers, and jailers at the O'Brien County Sheriff's Department. Their assistance to our department is greatly appreciated, and we couldn't do our jobs without them. I personally have gotten to know several police chiefs and sheriffs over my years at Sheldon PD as well. I won't mention any of them by name for fear that I might forget someone, but they know who they are. I'm grateful for their mentoring, their support, their friendships, and the many conversations we've had over the years. I'd also like to thank every city employee I've had the privilege of working side by side with. We truly are a family that works well together, and I'll miss you all. Special thanks to Sam, Todd, Angie, and Kurt. I've attended more meetings with you than I care to count. I sometimes see more of you than I do my own family. I heard once that the average person spends a year of their life attending meetings. I think some of us would have to admit that our attendance at meetings is above average. Sorry, Sam. I'd also like to thank Mayor Gales and the City Council for everything they have done for the City of Sheldon and for our department. You have thankless jobs, get paid almost nothing, and yet have to sometimes endure criticism and cynicism from people who are sure they know how to do your jobs better than you do. Thank you. And finally, I'd like to thank the citizens of Sheldon who have allowed me to be their police chief for the past 16 and a half years. I've been overwhelmed by the many expressions of gratitude the public has given me during the past weeks after announcing my retirement plans. Sheldon is filled with many great people, and I'll always be grateful for their support for me and our department. God bless.